So for this video I'm going to be doing an updated all of my Cocker Spaniels video. I know my last one wasn't in any order really, but this one I'm going to have them in order of their number. So yeah, because that's how all of my LPS are organised, by number, so it's easy. So I suppose that we should just quit dawdling and get into it. So the first Cocker Spaniel is number 79, and I know the condition for mine is absolutely abysmal. It's kind of scary to look at. So yeah, but I got this pet. I bought her from my good friend LPS Iris on Instagram, who had this beautiful damaged pet up for about £5, and yeah, I saw it, I thought, okay, well, I rarely see 79 listed, so I bought it, and if you ask me, it was a good deal. She was in better condition at the time, however, I did attempt to restore her, but funnily enough, my efforts to restore her simply ended with this, because I ended up scraping off all of the paints that I put on because it just truly looked awful, and I've come to the realization that if I have any hope of genuinely restoring her, I'm going to have an airbrush, and I don't own an airbrush, nor do I really know how much they cost, but I've looked into it a little bit, and yeah, they're not exactly cheap if you want a good one. So yeah, I want to use her in videos, but the condition is just so bad that I really don't know if it would be worth it. And a fun fact, I actually did give her a peg swap, so that peg in there is not the original one that she had. The original one was so rusted that the head full on just sat like that constantly, and there was no bubble. And unfortunately, despite my best efforts, I could not clean out the inside of the head and get all of the rust from in the head out. I couldn't get enough of it, so when I put the new peg in over time, it's kind of just fallen onto that one, which has caused which has caused the new peg to get rusted. So yeah, that's a fun fact about peg swaps. If the pet is really rusty, don't put the new one in until you have cleaned out the inside of the head, because otherwise you're gonna have to do another one, and then after that another one, and it'll just be an endless cycle of peg swaps, and it's a pain. Next up, we have got, oh, that's really close. We have got Cocker Spaniel 91, who is honestly, and I mean this genuinely, one of my favourite Cocker Spaniels. I think she is really cute, and honestly, I know most people look at this pet and just immediately think it's a girl, but really, I think you could use it as a boy, really, like genuinely. It's just, the design isn't exactly, like, it doesn't lean too heavily one way or the other, unlike some other designs do. So it's very gender neutral, I'll say. Like, there's not really, there is eyelashes, but there's just one, and they're really short. And yes, I do think this pet is kind of like the sibling to 298, who I've seen people call an unfinished version of this one, but nah. And a fun fact, I actually got this spaniel off of eBay with the pet that she came with, which was that little German Shepherd Doberman thing. I got it with that, and she is in pretty much perfect condition, aside from just a few scuffs that I couldn't get off, but that's fine, because look at how good her condition is for her age. Like, that is incredible. She's got a bit of a wobble, which doesn't really bother me, honestly. She works just fine in videos. However, I think for her I paid about £10. Yeah, £10 for the pet, as well as the German Shepherd that she came with. next up, we have Cocker Spaniel 156. There we go. So this Cocker Spaniel is one of my most recent ones. He's not my most recent, obviously, but one of them. And, oh dear, stop falling. This is one of my favourite Spaniels, honestly. I think the design is so unique, and when I saw the Calico Spaniel that Basic Fun made that clearly took inspiration from this design, I was like, oh my god. So yeah, I don't have much to say about this pet. It's a pretty common one, but yeah, I don't see it used in a lot of videos, which kind of baffles me, because I think it should be used in more. And honestly, I know most people, they seem to look at it and oh god, I'm hopping around everywhere, I'm so sorry. I tend to see people use this pet as a girl, interestingly enough, which I don't fully get, because to me it just looks like a guy. I don't see any girl in this one, but realistically, it's an LPS, it's a Cocker Spaniel, it can go either way, again. So yeah. And this pet will play the character of Min in my series Element Zero, which will be coming out eventually. I'm releasing that before Egotistical, but that's a whole other conversation on its own, and I can't bother to get into it. The next one that we're looking at is obviously 252, who is also one of my favourite Cocker Spaniels. I think this one is just really pretty. Unfortunately, mine's a bit scuffed up. There's like pen marks in the eyes, and I've gotten as much of it out as I could. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get all of it out. The paint is in, like, the paint's relatively intact, so that it's kind of annoying, but I'm sure if I keep trying at it, I will eventually get it off. It's just a matter of how long that takes and how much hand sanitizer and rubbing alcohol I'm going to have to get through. So yeah. And the next one is 298, who I have no idea if we have seen on the beautiful quality of my current camera. I don't remember. Oops. So mine is actually in really good condition, honestly. I got him for about £10 on eBay from my absolute favourite UK seller, In the Garden UK. Don't know why I love that seller so much, I've just bought from them so many times. So mine, I think right now he's a bit dirty, which would explain why he looks like that. But he's in great condition, like literally looks like he just got taken out of the box. And he did come with his original hat, but the moment that I went to take it off, I think it had just been on there that long. The elastic completely and utterly snapped. This one, I think, is really, really underrated, and I don't care what anyone says, it does not just look like a different version of 91, like, there's visible differences. And this one, to me, I'm just, oh god, he is so cute and so underrated. So yeah, before I keep yapping, let's move on to the next one. The next one is 344. Yes, I do know the numbers of all the Cocker Spaniels off by heart. They are my favourite mold. How on earth can you think I wouldn't? Anyway, so this guy is a very... I say he's unique. He's a unique looking guy, and he's really cute. And mine is, again, in really good condition. I got him in that one massive lot that I... like, massive haul lot thing that I posted, like, almost 2 years ago. By the time we hit oh my god, my speech is not going well today. By the time that we hit October this year, I will have had this guy for 2 full years, which is, wow, that's impressive. And then we have 347. Yeah, again, I know the numbers off by heart. I will be putting the numbers on the screen either way, so that way you can remember, but yeah. So this one, I've always looked at it, and I have always thought that it was similar to 91, but now that I actually have them both in person, they don't look even nearly as similar as I thought they did initially. This one, I think, has more, like, there's clearly a pattern going on here, whereas 91 kind of just has airbrushing on the ears and the back, and that's about it. There's not much else going on, whereas this one has airbrushing over the eye in, like, 3 separate lines on the ear, as well as 1 on the other, and on the back. So this one's very... whatever the word is, I don't know what I'm looking for. I just think this one's really pretty, and it can work. I said this in my last video looking at the Cocker Spaniels I have. This one can work as both, like, a mother, a teenager, girl, boy, whatever you want to do, it works. This pet is just... ugh, such a versatile design, and I swear, I don't understand why she's not used in more videos. Like, me personally, I look at this one and I do think it's a girl, but that's just me, that's my opinion. But you can look at it and have it go whichever way you want, which is just so nice, and I thank Hasbro for doing that, because we don't have enough male Cocker Spaniels. We've got, like, maybe 3. And next up, we have my most recent Cocker Spaniel, 575! Oh my god, look at her in this lighting! So, I'm trying to be careful when I'm moving this one around, because she, again, does have, like, that really weird swivel head. Although, it's not playing up too much right now. So, this one, again, is my most recent, and she is... ooh, I think she was one of the last dipped ear Spaniels that I needed. I think I only need 568 and 748. I think those are the last ones I'm missing for this specific style of Spaniel, like dipped ear, kind of similar look. And then I will have all of those, which is very exciting. But this one, oh, I haven't had the chance to decide on any videos to use her in yet, but my god, is she gorgeous. I don't know what it is, just, I think, because her design doesn't look that different from, like, 716, but she still somehow just looks so different at the same time. For some reason, like, this side of the head on mine is kind of shiny, and I don't know what that's about, but other than that, like, look at her condition. I did get her from a seller in France, and she is in, like, literally perfect condition and has a perfect bobble, even if her head is a bit... hold on, let me just... oh Christ, that's worse than I thought. Okay, so she has a nearly perfect bobble aside from that horrific swivel, which I don't know what that's about, but it isn't really something worth swapping the peg over. I can work around it, and I've made the mistake of swapping a peg on a pet that did not need it before, and I hope to never do that again. The next one we have is 716 herself, who... oh god, the story about this one is such a mess. I got her from my good friend LPS Matcha on Instagram. We did a trade, and yeah, she is in, like, basically perfect condition. She does have, like, a few marks, but it doesn't really matter. And her nose, the chip on it has, I will admit, it has increased since I got her, which is purely because I took her literally everywhere with me and I kept dropping her. But I have since opted to not bring her out with me nearly as often because I don't want her condition to not be perfect. I was looking for this one for years and years and years, and when LPS Matcha was willing to trade it to me, I was like, oh my god, I jumped on that immediately. I think if she hadn't had 716, I might not have been so quick to say, yes, let's trade. And then we have 960, who on camera really does just look ultra dark. I mean, she is ultra dark, but she's not quite as ultra dark in person as she looks on camera, I swear. Or maybe it's just my lighting that's the problem, I don't know. Anyway, so this one was my second authentic Cocker Spaniel, and I got her late 22, I think. So I've had her for nearly 3 years, and to this day she is still like one of my favourites. I got her for £11, I think, and I don't really know why I bought her, because she wasn't really one that was on my wish list. I kind of just saw her for a good deal and thought, I'm not passing that up. And then we have the Puzzle Spaniel, who I got from, I have absolutely no idea how you pronounce his username. I always pronounce it as like Shiro Collects, but that could be wrong, and I probably am wrong, and I probably should ask, but nah. But either way, that seller is an absolute sweetheart, I swear. You should all go and buy from him when he restocks. Anyway. So this pet was in absolutely horrendous condition. Like, you can see on the ears, kind of, that I have repainted him, but it has, like, come off a little bit, but it's fine, because he's usable now. And I also repainted his nose, which I was so happy with that, and gave him a peg swap, which thankfully hasn't, you know, no rust has come back, so his peg is now perfect. And then we have this one, and I always get her number the wrong way round. I think it's 1615, this one is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. This one, as a fun fact, was the first Cocker Spaniel that I ever got. Not this exact one in my hand, but 1615 was the first Spaniel I got. Initially, I had gotten one for Christmas in 2015, and I was so happy about that. I was like, oh my god, she is absolutely one of my favourite Spaniels, and I don't know why she's not used in more videos, but anyway, after like a week, the peg on that one, it seems to be a common way that this specific Spaniel goes. The peg snapped, and obviously 10 years ago, I was like 9, I would have been 10. I did not know that a peg swap was a thing. I didn't know how to do a peg swap. I didn't even know they existed. And either way, it wouldn't have mattered, because I've heard that Blythe pets are horrifically difficult to peg swap. But anyway, I think maybe like a few years later, either way, I was at one of my friend's house, and they had this pet. This exact one that's in my hands right now, they had it, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my god. So let's just say I traded a ridiculous number of LPS. We won't talk about the fact that they were 90% G4 and G3. But yeah, I traded like 34 of those, and I got this pet. And then we have 1716, and the only reason that I can remember this one's number is because it's similar to 716, just with an extra number at the beginning. So yeah. This one, I got for like £30 on eBay, and she, quite clearly, not in great condition, but I did a peg swap, and she was horrendously difficult to peg swap. Went around with rubbing alcohol and acetone, just taking off all the marks that weren't supposed to be there. I did accidentally take off some of her eye, and you can kind of tell it's been repainted, but at the same time you can't. I have double checked that with other people, and they have confirmed that you can't really tell the eye is repainted. She does have like some marks on her snout, which I don't know how to get rid of. I want to, but I just don't know how. But this one, oh god, when I tell you, I wanted her for ages because I thought she was so cute. But then I saw the prices that she was going for, and I was like, hell no. But then I found one for £30 from a seller in France, so yeah. And I've noticed a common theme with me is that I find sellers in France. But look at how beautiful she is! I need to find excuses to use her in videos. I really do, but I can never think of any. And next, we've gone through all the G2 Spaniels that I have. We have this one. Yes, the G7 Spaniel, and this one is just... I knew I wanted it from the moment I saw those stock images leak. I was like, oh my god. I think this one is perfect. I have zero complaints about it. Like, oh god, look at her. She's just so pretty. And I will be finding excuses to use her in videos. The only thing that bothers me is her bobble isn't very good, unlike the other G7 Spaniel. And last but not least, we have this one, and she is a beauty. The stock photos did her horrifically dirty, but we aren't gonna go into that. Originally when I saw the stock photos for this one go out, I was like, yeah, nah, I don't really want it. But then I saw photos of it in box, like, when I say in box, I mean in, like, the European, like, worldwide release packaging. I was like, you know what? Actually, I need it. And then I found her in the shop. There's a toy shop near me that one of my friends works in, actually, and he sent me a message and he was like, are you gonna come and buy them? And I was like, absolutely I will. So then I did. So yeah, the perks of having a friend that works in a toy shop. And that was all of my Cocker Spaniels. I have 15. I'm not including Frankie in that because she's a custom. I have 15 Cocker Spaniels, 13 Hasbro ones, which means Cocker Spaniels are officially the mould I have the most of, which I'm glad about because they're my favourite LPS mould. Crouching Cats are a close second. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope the quality was better. But yeah, so I don't really know what to say, so goodbye!